Thank you everyone that sent me some of your drawings and some of the information you found out about these animals. You have a question. Cool. Let's go. What's your question?
Like I do about sharks, and then I realized that why shark has so many fins.
Well, okay. Why does a shark have so many fins? It's a good question. Why do you think?
I think that one fin the big fin will let the shark swim,
Yeah.
and some other will.
Well, okay. Think about this, right? Think about a plane. Okay. A plane has wings, right? On either side. It's got a wing at the back, kind of like a shark. Basically, what the fins do is, shark has to stay swimming, okay? Always has to stay moving, has to stay afloat. It also needs to be able to steer itself because the shark swims very, very fast. What all of these fins do is, one, keep the shark like this, and two, help keep the shark move in directions that it wants to move in. So a shark needs a lot of fins in order for it to be able to swim fast and to be able to move the way it does. So that's why a shark has so many fins. Okay, anyway, so first thing I want to do today is let's do a quiz. Let's get you thinking about stuff that we learned last week. Okay, so let me share my screen with you. Have a look at some of the questions you found a little bit difficult, just out of interesting. What does animals stay cool? Long ears. Remember we looked at the fennec fox. The fennec fox has large ears which help it keep its temperature. What else do we find tough? What are coral reefs often compared to? We did it in class. We said rainforests. We said coral reefs are like rainforests underneath the sea. What type of water does coral prefer? Warm water. Prefers warm water. We looked at that in class as well. Let's have a look. What else we got here? Carbon desert and go for water. Good job. Find a slot. The canopy layer. Excellent. 4. Good job. Emergent. Good stuff. Temperature is an example of what kind of factor? Dead. Oh, the dead factor. Silly. Abiotic factors are living things in an ecosystem is false. Abiotic is non-living. Non-living. Okay, living things, organisms and stuff. An ecosystem. Ecosystem. We're learning about ecosystems, yes, which is biotic factor. Bacteria, sunlight and air are abiotic, not all of the above. Where an organism lives, it shelters, its habitat. Abiotic part of required by plants for photosynthesis is sunlight. Non-living parts. The answer's here. Abiotic factors. Abiotic, non-living, right there. Okay. So look, what we're going to do today is we're going to go through some of this anyway. I'm going to review some of the major points of what we've been looking at to help you go forward and do your homework for today. So I'm going to talk about your plant and animal your animal drawings tomorrow. Okay, so you can tell me, what is an ecosystem? So an ecosystem is a biological community. Animals and flowers interact with the physical environment, which means that the biotic factors, the plants and the animals, interact with the abiotic factors, such as the air, the temperature, the amount of rain, the water in that area. These are all biotic factors interacting with abiotic factors, living, interacting with non-living. So When you're asked what is an ecosystem, there are two parts. Ecosystem is a biological community. It's a living community. Okay. Next section is animals and flowers interact with the physical environment. The living parts of the ecosystem interact with the non-living parts of the ecosystem, right? So the biotic factors, these are the living things that affect an ecosystem. They interact with each other and non-living things. Examples of living things are bacteria, bees, trees. What's an example of another living thing, please? Harry, tell me a living thing. Fast, fast.
Plants.
Plants, good job. A, another living thing.
Tree.
Tree, good job. Kimmy, another one.
Animals.
And animals, yes, perfect, good job. Pro, tell me another living thing.
Tree.
Tree, yeah, okay, cool. So plants, trees, animals, insects, birds, bacteria, viruses, these are all living things, okay? They are alive. They are biotic factors. Look at it, biotic, not abiotic, biotic. I asked you to tell me a biotic factor is a living thing. If I asked you to tell me an abiotic factor, these are non-living things. Things like wind and sunlight, soil, temperature, the atmosphere, the air, the water. These are all non-living things that are in environments. To go through that again, a biotic factor is a biotic factor is a living thing. An abiotic factor is a non-living thing. In an ecosystem, a biotic factor interacts with the abiotic factors. Okay? Now, listen to how we're saying those differently. Abiotic means like an example of a living thing. Abiotic is non-living. See that? A and A. A and A. What are the differences there? Abiotic, non-living. Abiotic factor is name a living thing. Okay? Here again are some examples, right? So we have protists. These are just single-cell organisms. Fungus, things like mushrooms. Bacteria, you all know bacteria. Animals and plants. They are living things. They are biotic things. Non-living, water, soil, air, minerals like rocks, light. They're abiotic. They are non-living. These interact with these, and these non-living things cause the living things to change what they do. For example, that question in the quiz about the camel. Why does the camel have to store so much water? Because there's no water in the desert. If it lived in the desert, then it needs to be able to store water to survive. Non-living things make living things change and adapt based on their ecosystem. Okay, so let's keep moving on. So we do got some stuff that I want to study. Okay, so you can tell me what ecosystems did we look at? We looked at 3 ecosystems in lots of detail. Trixie, what ecosystems did we study?
We studied the rainforest ecosystem, the ocean ecosystem, and the desert ecosystem.
Yeah, perfect. Good job. So we looked at 3. We looked at rainforests, deserts, and oceans, in particular coral reefs. Okay. So I'm going to quickly go through those. So in a desert, abiotic factors, okay, the non-living factors in a desert ecosystem are high temperature. It's super hot. There isn't that much rain. Really dry. It's sandy. So soil is like sand. Cooler underneath the sand. It can be windy and very open. So when we have biotic factors, we know that they take, for example, the fennec fox. Fennec fox is nocturnal. It comes out at night. It comes out at night because it's not that hot. During the day, it stays in its burrow underground where the sand is cooler and not that hot. So this is how a living thing has interacted with non-living things. It said, well, it's high temperature. I'm not going to go outside when it's too hot. It's an interaction thing. I don't want to do that. There's not much rain. It can be very dry, sandy. So they use the sand to walk on. Remember, they got furry feet. Make their burrows underneath the sand so they can stay away from the wind and they can stay sheltered and make sure they don't get eaten by something else. Okay. So there is an example of how a living thing uses non-living things. Remember that there are lifeless areas with land, little rain. There's lack of plant and animal life, meaning the ground is covered in sand. Okay? That in essence is a desert. When you are thinking about a desert ecosystem, this is what I want you to think about. I want you to think about how living things react and interact with these issues, okay? What do they do to survive? The camel stores water, okay? We looked at rainforests, okay? So rainforest, high amounts of rainfall, really dense, lots and lots and lots and lots of trees. Plants fight for sunlight by growing tall, and rainforests are host to huge amounts of animal life. There's lots of animals who live there. With rainforests, abiotic factors are things, as we just mentioned. There's lots of rain, lots of sunlight, it's very hot. But when you go down the different layers, there's not that much sunlight. The plants have to grow and act fast. Remember we said in the emergent layer, you got to grow really tall, right, to get to the sunlight. Well, plants who are in the understory or the forest floor, they don't have much sunlight. They interact with the lack of sunlight, going, I've got to get big. I get big fast. I can get to those tall. I can get tall. I can have some sunlight to make some food. These are examples of what plants do when there's a lack of sunlight. Okay. Coral reefs as well. We looked at coral reefs. Now this is where coral is like a plant, as you can see, grown on rocks and creates an underwater ecosystem. Coral are like plants, okay? They make food from the sun. So if they make food from the sun, what do they need? They need to be in an area that's not that deep. It's a lot of sunlight. If it gets a lot of sunlight, it's more than likely going to be warm, right? Now, these areas exist in places where there's warm water and it's not very deep. I just gave you the answer as to why that is, because they need to be able to get sunlight in order to grow. Now remember, they also need rock to grow on. So there's two ways in which coral, a plant-like creature, needs non-living things. It needs rocks to grow on, it needs sunlight. It also needs the water in order to make sure that it can grow in that medium, and also to make sure the water is not too deep. So there's four things that coral interacts with non-living things: water, rocks, sunlight, and like the deepness of the water, the soil of the water as well. Okay, so these are things I need you to remember and think about. Now, we looked at this: coral reefs versus rainforests. Coral reefs and rainforests are always thought about in kind of the same manner because they host so much animal life. You see, with rainforest, 50% of all animals, and coral reef is 25% of all animals. They make up 75% of all the animals in the world just in rainforests and coral reefs. It's a really big number. No wonder they're compared to each other. So what I want you to do for your homework is I want you to compare non-living, the abiotic factors of two ecosystems using a Venn diagram. Now, here's an example, okay? So on the left-hand side, a rainforest ecosystem. On the right side, I've got a coral reef ecosystem. If I was to compare non-living things about these, I'm going to put them here. But if they are the same, have the same thing, I'm going to put them in the middle. You all know what Venn diagrams are. We've all done it before. So it won't be too much issue for you, but I want you to take your time and think about it. So if you have a rainforest, you're comparing a rainforest and a coral reef, you can say, well, okay, well, the rainforest is on the land, right? So that's where the rainforest is. So that's where some of its non-living factors are going to be. A coral reef under the water, they're different. Okay? So that one just goes in a rainforest, this one just goes in a coral reef. In a rainforest, it rains all of the year round. Well, it can't rain in coral reef because a coral reef is underwater. They do have ocean currents, okay? Ocean currents affect rainforests. It can't rain on a coral reef because it's already under the water. One thing the two things that are saying about it, well, like they've got lots of sunlight, right? A rainforest has a lot of sunlight, and a coral reef, we said, it gets lots of sunlight because it needs sunlight in order to grow. Now they've got high temperatures. Coral reefs like warm water. If it's warm water, it's got to be hot. If it's a rainforest, we know it's hot there as well. So this is what I want you to do. Take two ecosystems: rainforest, desert, coral reef, desert, rainforest. That's up to you. You can decide. I want you to write in the abiotic factors for one of them. If there's any that are the same, put them in the middle, and then one of them over here. Anybody have any questions about this homework? I want to make sure you understand. I'll send you this presentation so you can see this as well. you can see exactly what I mean. Take your time at it, okay? I don't want you to rush.